Namaskar. Acharya Shankar, Sanskritik Ekta Nyas, Department of Culture, Madhya Pradesh Government, cordially welcomes each Atman present in this Upanishad Sabhagar of Ekatma Dham Shivir at the historic celebration called Mahakumbh, the biggest human congregation on this planet, under which we have witnessed enlightening talks of various spiritual luminaries before, and today we have gathered here for an equally unforgettable discourse under the Advaita for Future series. I welcome all the esteemed guests which are present with us, and I welcome all of you. Advaita for Future series, under these series of talks, we'll witness Advaita for environment today. Our planet faces urgent environmental challenges, including climate change, deforestation, extinction of species, pollution, and resource depletion. These crises are largely a result of an exploitative mindset that views nature as a resource separate from us. This disconnect has led to widespread degradation. A new perspective is urgently required, one that fosters unity rather than division between humanity, mankind, and Mother Nature. Advaita or non-dualism teaches that all of existence is one. It rejects the illusion of separateness between self and the universe and the cosmos. Emphasizing that the individual and nature are interconnected, this philosophy views nature not as an external entity to be exploited and used, but as an extension of our own selves. The boundaries between us and them, human beings and the environment, disappear, revealing a profound oneness of both these elements. This panel today will explore how Advaita provides a transformative lens to address environmental issues by recognizing the oneness between humanity and nature. Advaita challenges the prevailing attitude of dominance over nature. Advaita proposes that true well-being can only be achieved when we see the health of the planet as the health of our own body. This panel will examine both the spiritual and the practical aspects of exploring how this ancient wisdom of Advaita can guide modern environmental solutions. Ultimately, Advaita Vedanta provides a path to living harmoniously with the earth, rooted in the understanding that we are nature itself. Thank you so much for joining us. To officially start this discussion, I would first request Dr. Manish Pandey, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Acharya Shankar Sanskritik Ekta Nyas, Department of Culture, to kindly come forward and felicitate all our esteemed panel here.
Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Paryanta Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vadvyapta Dehaya दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। न भूमिर्न तोयं न तेजो न वायुः न भूमिर्न तोयं न तेजो न वायुः न खं नेन्द्रियं वा न तेषां समूहः अनैकान्तिकत्वात् सुषुप्त्येकसिद्धः तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् न वर्णा न वर्णाश्रमाचारधर्मा न मेधारणा ध्यानयोगादयोऽपि अनात्माश्रयाहं ममाध्यासहारात् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् न माता पिता वा न देवा न लोका न वेदा न यज्ञा न तीर्थं ब्रुवन्ति सुषुप्तौ निरस्तातिशून्यात्मकत्वात् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् न साङ्ख्यं न शैवं न तत्पाञ्चरात्रं न जैनं न मीमांसकादेर्मतं वा विशिष्टानुभूत्या विशुद्धात्मकत्वात् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् न चोर्ध्वं न चाधो न चान्तर्न बाह्यं न मध्यं न तिर्यं न पूर्वापरादिक वियद्व्यापकत्वादखण्डैकरूपः तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् न शुक्लं न कृष्णं न रक्तं न पीतं न कुब्जं न पीनं न ह्रस्वं न दीर्घम् अरूपं तथा ज्योतिराकारकत्वात् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् न शास्ता न शास्त्रं न शिष्यो न शिक्षा न च त्वं न चाहं न चायं प्रपञ्चः स्वरूपावबोधो विकल्पासहिष्णुः तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् न जाग्रन् न मे स्वप्नको वा सुषुप्तिः न विश्वो न वा तैजसः प्राज्ञको वा अविद्यात्मकत्वात् त्रयाणां तुरीयः तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् अपि व्यापकत्वात् हि तत्त्वप्रयोगात् स्वतः सिद्धभावादनन्याश्रयत्वात् जगत्तुच्छमेतत् समस्तं तदन्यत् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् तदेको वसिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् न चैकं तदन्यद्वितीयं कुतः सर्वं न शून्यं न चाशून्यमद्वैतकत्वात् कथं सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धं ब्रवीमि कथं सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धं ब्रवीमि शिवः केवलोऽहं शिवः केवलोऽहं शिवः केवलोऽहम्
The esteemed panel that we have in front of us today consists of our guest of honor, Shri Erik Solheim ji, who happens to be the ambassador of Ekatma Dham initiative, our guide and mentor, and our moderator for the evening, Swami Mitranand Saraswati ji, and our very esteemed advisor in this journey of oneness, Professor Ramnath Jha ji. For setting the tone of this entire discussion, I would very kindly request Professor Ramnath Jha to please kindly come forward and set the tone for this panel discussion. Professor Ramnath Jha ji is a very senior faculty member at Jawaharlal Nehru University located in New Delhi. He is associated with the field of social sciences with specific focus on political science, sociology, but apart from all these disciplines, what makes him stand apart is his understanding of Upanishads, Vedas, and Advaita Vedanta, and his love for Shankaracharya. So I would very kindly request sir to come forward and take the stage.
इदं नमः ऋषिभ्यः पूर्वजेभ्यः पूर्वेभ्यः पत्कृतभ्यः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तो पुनः पुनः. Our honorable Swami Mitranand ji, respected Erik and faculty member and researchers and other audience, I welcome all of you, and with my pranam to you, I present the Advaitic model of environment. Actually, the Upanishadic model or Upanishadic understanding of reality is based on the basic and principal statement that is, truth is one, but it presents or it manifests itself into this pluralistic universe. So there are 5 major statements in Upanishads. First, a statement related with the manifestation of reality. Second, a statement related with the sustenance of this reality. Third, a statement related with the dissolving of this reality. Fourth, the statement related where that consciousness, the supreme consciousness, is already there in manifestation. And fifth, that supreme consciousness residing everywhere, controlling everything from within. So these are 5 statements, Upanishadic statements. One is Utpatti Vakya, Yato va imani bhutani jayante. Second is the Sthiti Vakya. येन जातानि जीवन्ति. Third is the pralay vakya, yat priyantyaभिसंविशन्ति. Fourth is the pravesh vakya, tat srishtva tadevanupravishat. And fifth is the niyaman vakya. Niyaman vakya means bhita esa surya tapate. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. These are the statements which are niyaman vakya. So with these 5 statements, the same truth, the same consciousness is everywhere, and it takes different forms, name and forms, only with its power. So the whole universe is nothing but the power itself, the Shakti itself. And as Adi Shankaracharya says in Vivek Churamani, Abhyakt namni Parmesh Shakti Ranadya Vidya Trigunatmika Para Karyanumeya Sudhyev Maya Yaya Jagat Sarvamidam Prasuyate. So it is Maya, it is Shakti through which the whole universe came into existence. So with its power, that consciousness is everywhere, and this is the actual position of Advaita. And with this kind of understanding, we can take another mantra, Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat Ten Tyakten Bhunjitha Ma Gridha Kas Swiddhanam. So this is the clear position of Advaita Vedanta, that consciousness is everywhere. Whether we can capture it through our sense organ, and whether it is in that state where our sense organ can't capture. But consciousness is everywhere. First issue. Second, we have also concept of Devta. What does it mean, Devta? So Rishi says, Niruktakar says, Devah Danat. I accept that reality as Devta, which unconditionally provide everything for us. In this way, as per our Upanishadic wisdom, Prithvi is Devta, because Prithvi is providing everything for us unconditionally. Jal is Devta, because what percentage of water is in our body, that has been decided by a process of nature. What percentage of heating process in our body, that has been decided by a process of nature. We can't decide what temperature will be in our body, what temperature is outside of this body, what temperature of this earth. This is the main issue of environment, global environment. What we are facing today, that if this heat or temperature increases 1.5 degree, that can create all types of problems. And IPCC 4, now IPCC 6, that is giving report, this kind of report. Similarly, we accept Vayu as Devata, because what percentage of oxygen is in environment, that is decided by a process of nature. And if it increases, that is also dangerous for nature, and if it decreases, that is also dangerous. So the actual ratio of the oxygen or other gases are decided by natural process. Similarly, other deities. So this is very important concept. Why we focus always on Devata? Why to worship Devata? Because we have to first oblige to Devatas, because through that process we are sustaining, and also they are a kind of giving and taking up. Bhagavan Krishna in Gita clearly says, Devan bhavaita nenote deva bhavayantu vah parasparam bhavayantah shreyah param avapsnatha. Means if you take care of Devata means natural deities or natural process, then it will also take care of you, and by mutual taking care of each other, you will reach the state of happiness. Shreyah param avapsyatha. And one step ahead, Bhagavan Krishna says, evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartiyati yah aghayu indriyaramah mogham partha sajivati. There is a kind of cyclic process between human being and nature, and if someone doesn't know this process and violates the natural law, then he is supposed to be papi. In our tradition, papa punya is not existing, but for environmental issues, Bhagavan Krishna clearly said that those people are a papi who do not understand the cyclic process of human being and nature. So that is aghayu. Aghayu means they are exploiting, as Smriti has clearly mentioned, they are exploiting nature. Nature for pleasing or for just for their sense organ and other organs. So they are asur. Asur is very important term in Indian tradition. Asun pranan indriyani rati anugachatiti asurah. Who are ever for the material pleasure and trying to satisfy their sense organs through exploiting nature. Those persons are supposed to be asur. And others are dev, because who are for the welfare of society, who are taking minimum from nature, and in this way they sustain themselves by taking minimum from nature, and also they always take care of nature to protect it. So in this way there is also Devasur Sangram. Devasur Sangram means who exploits nature and who is taking care of nature. So there is a kind of always fight between Dev and Asur. So this is also one of the issues we must address. And in Advaitic tradition, as all forms of nature are divine, because their consciousness is residing. So all forms are divine. So Adi Shankaracharya has composed all slokas, many slokas for protecting nature, to give it a divine stature. For example, they are always singing Twadambulin Deenameen Divya Sampradayakam Kalau Malog Bharahari Sarva Tirthanayakam Sumach Kach Nakra Chakra Chakravak Sharmade Twadiya Pada Pankajam Namami Devi Narmade. If we think from environmental point of view, so Acharya says that I worship Narmada. But what type of Narmada? A Narmada that is giving shelter to fish, giving shelter to crocodile, giving shelters to plants, trees, other worlds. So as Narmada is giving shelter to everyone, in this way I worship Narmada. You know, similarly, he has written Yamunastakam. Murarikaya Kalima Lalam Varidharani Trinikritatra Vishtapa Trilok Shoka Harani Manonukul Kul Kunj Punj Dhut Durmada Dhunotume Mano Malam Kalinda Nandani Sada. You know, Acharya says that Yamuna is so clean, and Yamuna is with so purity and with so many positive properties, that if someone is mentally unhealthy, if someone is physically unhealthy, if he visits Yamuna, he will get healthy and he will come back with happiness. So this kind of Yamuna we have. And of course Gangaji, today also I said there, बर्मिह नीरे कमठो मीनः किंबा तीरे सरटो क्षीणः अथवा स्वपचो मलिनो दीनः तब नहीं दूरे नृपति कुलीनः. You know, he says that I will prefer to live on the bank of Ganga as fish, as tortoise, as जिसको कहते हैं छिपकली. So a very lean and thin छिपकली. But I will not prefer to be a king that is in the distant form of this Ganga. So this kind of divinity we have regarding river, similarly with mountains, the other forms of nature. So this is Advaitic view of natural reality. So this is one aspect. This is the world view of Advait philosophy. But now we also think of the other world view. The other world view, as Smriti mentioned there, the other world view starts from Leucippus and Democritus, and René Descartes concludes it. And René Descartes concludes it with the understanding that there is a mind-matter duality. And what is mind? Who thinks is the mind, and who doesn't think is the matter. And there is a clearly distinction between a thinking being and a non-thinking reality. So as per René Descartes, other than human being, that and that only thinks, other than human being in non-thinking reality. And as per his understanding, even animals, plants, and other aspects of reality are non-thinking reality. So those are made only for the utility of human being. In this way, human being is totally different from nature, and nature is made for just exploitation. So if you exploit more and more, you will develop your economy, you will develop your power, and you can dominate over nature, and you can dominate even other people. You know, the one of the aspects is a human being is the thinking being, but there is a gradation within thinking beings. Yes, Fritjof Capra and others raised this issue that even there are degrees, high thinking human being and a low thinking human being. So if you are with that kind of mindset, you can also dominate over low thinking human being. So this is also an environmental issue. So low thinking human being and other than human being, these are for the exploitation. So this is one aspect, and the material aspect of René Descartes became the object of Newtonian science, and that started the material development in scientific arena. So this is one aspect, but in European tradition as well, so many biologists, a German biologist named Ernest Haeckel. Ernest Haeckel came in 1866 and started to study the relationship between human being and other than human being. So he thought, is there any relation between human being and other than human being? That was a project of biology. And after that he found that yes, there is a relation, and to study relationship between human being and other than human being is the meaning of the term ecology, which was coined by Ernest Haeckel. So ecological study was initiated, and after so many years, around 1970, and what name I am taking before you, he is belonging to the same country from where Erik is belonging, and that is Arne Naess. Arne Naess went one step further, and he coined deep ecology. Deep ecology because he divided ecology into two parts, shallow ecology and deep ecology. Shallow ecology, you can say, almost hijacked by the materialist. Then he coined another term, deep ecology. Deep ecology means when you ask the deeper question of nature, when you go to the deeper aspect of nature, you will find that there is different structure. So now, through sense organ, we see each one is different from others. But when you go to the deeper aspect of your same personality and the nature, you will find that everyone is connected with each other. So if everyone is connected with each other, also David Bohm experimented that even an electron is connected with other electrons even in the other galaxies without any time gap. This kind of relation is in the deeper state of reality. So if you have that kind of knowledge, then we'll clearly understand that if you exploit nature, it means we are exploiting ourselves. And then the unification theory, that the one force or one power is the source of other powers or other forces. This is another development in the scientific area. So with that kind of understanding, now even UNO is very much conscious, and he is belonging to the UNPP, Environmental Program, and now UNO says that you go to nature and you lead your natural life, then you can sustain, and then the nature can be protected. So now, when our Taittiriya Upanishad says, Tasmat etasmat atmanah akasa sambhutah, akasad vayu, vayu ragni, ragne rapa, advya prithvi. So all forms of nature is the manifestation of the same consciousness. Okay? Now you see the statement of Arrhenius. He says, if you deepens your understanding that nature is nothing but your extension, then you can protect nature without any making proper effort, as you don't effort to inhale and exhale. You know, you inhale and exhale without any special effort. Similarly, if you think that this is your extension, then you can protect nature without any making a special effort. So this kind of philosophy has been initiated by Arrhenius, and this is known as a deep ecological movement at global level. So, and he is also the scholar of Upanishad and Gita. So finally, Advaitic thought went to Arrhenius, and it came in the form of deep ecological movement. That is the contribution of Advaita philosophy. So with this kind of understanding, we have been thinking, we are thinking now, and if we understand this worldview properly, I think the nature can be protected, and by protecting nature, we can protect ourselves, and this is the only solution. Yes, we try to improve our technology, but as per my understanding, this technology cannot take you to the very far. It will react again. But if you have proper understanding of nature, then you can sustain yourself by taking minimum from nature. You know, in our Advaitic tradition, Prakriti or nature is our mother. You know, because as Vivek Chudamani says, actually the whole manifestation is from Shakti. So Shakti and Prakriti and even our earth, all are in the form of mother in our Advaitic tradition. So as children takes from mother, everything taking from mother, but not taking so much to kill mother, you know. Similarly, we have to take from nature to sustain ourselves. but not take so much that nature can be destroyed. So this kind of understanding we should have. And with one more example, I will be closing my talk, that this is the Advaitic position with which we have been accepted Prithvi as our mother. You know, the whole universe, even you can say whole globe, is exploiting earth, but it is Advaitic position which accept Prithvi as mother. Mata Bhumi Putroham Prithivya. This is from Atharved, you know. And, after Arne when he developed a deep ecological movement, then a committee was set up, you know. So many geologists started research whether earth is alive or dead, you know. And after research, it was found that whatever is on the upper side of earth, that is nothing but the manifestation of the inner process of earth, you know. So there is a kind of identical relation between the inner process of earth and the outer manifestation. So if outer manifestations, where we all are, where plants are, where animals are, if they are alive, how can earth be dead? You know, with that kind of research, finally they concluded that earth is not a dead reality. Earth is alive, and with the recommendation of geologists, a committee was set up by UNO, and then Earth Charter 2000 was prepared. Earth Charter 2000 is on the website, you can see there. And the maximum point of Earth Charter have been taken from this tradition, the Vedic tradition, and the first line of the preamble, Earth, our home, is alive. The intention is that you should treat earth as you treat human being, you know. And lastly, in Advaitic tradition, we have 4 kinds of jeev, no, 4 kinds of jeev. That is Jadayuj. Jadayuj means all human being. Andaj, all birds. Udbhij, all types of plants. And Svedaj, all types of insects. They have been accepted as jeev, as conscious reality, as living reality. But as per René Descartes, it is only human being that is conscious, other than human being is non-conscious. So there is a one type of worldview, and this is another, that is Advaitic worldview. So these are 2 worldviews, and if you are trained to understand the distinction between 2 worldviews, then you can justice properly. And I think if we all are trained in Advaitic worldview, that is the call of the globe, and that is the mandate of UNO, and that is mandate of everyone, even UNPP, that we can protect nature. And without protecting nature, we cannot protect ourselves. So this worldview has to be taken to the UNO, to other forums, where people should be trained to understand the structure of the whole universe and the position of consciousness in this nature, and accordingly we should take minimum from nature, as Isavasyopniषद says, ten tyakten bhunjitha. This is the model of Advaita. We should take minimum from nature, ma gridha kasya siddhanam, and don't be greedy. Lastly, giving one example of Mahatma Gandhi ji, when he was on the bank of Sabarmati. So generally he used to go to the river part and took 1 lota of water, you know, and again climbing and coming to the ashram. So his secretary Pandya, He said once that why are going time and again to the flowing river and coming back? I will take one balti of water and it will be comfortable for you. Mahatma Gandhi replied, no, 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 no. I need only one lota of water. Sabarmati is not flowing for myself only. It is flowing for all creatures. It is satisfying all forms of nature. I need one lota of water, so I will go time and again, no problem. Let the river flow for others. And this kind of worldview is the Advaitic worldview of environment, Advaitic worldview of ecology. I think this is the positioning of Advait philosophy from environmental point of view, from ecological point of view, and I think after discussion we can go further. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Professor Jhaji. I am sure you all can't wait to witness this enlightening discussion. I'll very quickly introduce you to another panelist, Swami Mitranand Saraswati ji. He's a spiritual teacher and the most dynamic sannyasi you'll ever come across. His guru, Pujya Swami Chinmayanand ji, in his literature used to call Shankara the fittest spiritual general. We all very lovingly call Swamiji the fittest lieutenant. That's what we call him. He's known for his teachings that focus on self-realization and understanding the nature of the self, often emphasizing the importance of inner well-being, mindfulness, and the pursuit of spiritual growth, specifically among youngsters. Our other panelist and the guest of honor today, we have Mr. Erik Solheim, who's a Norwegian diplomat, environmentalist, and politician known for his work in international peace negotiations and sustainable development. He served as the executive director of United Nations Environment Programme from 2016 to 2018 and has been a strong advocate for climate action, green technology, and environmental conservation. Before leading UNEP, Mr. Solheim was Norway's Minister of Environment and International Development, playing a key role in the global climate negotiations and peace processes, particularly in Sri Lanka and Sudan. He's also recognized for promoting collaboration between governments, businesses, and communities to drive environmental conservation and change. Currently, he continues his work as an advisor on green development and sustainability, engaging with different international organizations and initiatives focused on climate resilience and ecological conservation. And as I mentioned earlier, that now he's in the journey of oneness with us. He's our ambassador. He's the ambassador for this entire initiative that we are doing. So I would now request all of you to be extremely attentive and just enjoy this beautiful discussion that's going to take place.
Checking. Little volume, please. Checking. Thanks. My salutations to Mr. Erik and our dear Professor Ramnath ji. Can I start with a question? You guys are young. Was attending to what Ramnath ji was saying. How many scientists and how many books he referred in his talk? I always call him, no, you don't have to worry now. Don't talk about the names. I always call him a moving encyclopedia. And whenever I have to introduce him, I have always done that. Here is a moving encyclopedia. You scratch him and wisdom keeps coming out. I'll continue this discussion taking a cue from what Ramnathji said. Professor was talking about a verse in the Bhagavad Gita. The verse which says, you take care of devas, devas in turn will take care of you. Parasparam bhavayantaha shreyaha paramavapsyata. Parasparam, supporting each other, serving each other. May you progress and may you attain the highest good. Now, who are these devas? Ramnathji said very clearly, earth is a deva, fire is a deva, air, Vayu is a deva, Agni, Vayu, Varuna, Prithvi. We see all this as deva. So here is our instruction. You take care of devas, they in turn will take care of you, taking care of each other. Parasparam bhavayantaha shreyaha paramavapsyata. Taking care of each other, may you attain shreyaha paramavapsyata, highest good, not ordinary, not mediocre. May you attain the highest good. This is a powerful message for the human beings. It is our responsibility to take care of nature. Deva, nature. We take care of them. In turn, nature would support us and take care. In fact, Krishna goes little more further and says in the same chapter how the nature will take care of you. Dasyante yajna bhavitaha. Dasyante. The nature will come and support you like a dasa. You understand dasa? Dasa is a person who is committed to service. Sevak. Like a sevak coming and serving, the nature would support us. That's why in that chapter, 10th verse, chapter 3 of the Gita, Krishna says, Saha yajna prajasrishtva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadvam eshavostvishta kamadik. Verse number 10, chapter 3. Saha yajna. Now, this is a beautiful way of saying, when the creation was made, when this creation happened, Purovacha Prajapatihi, at that time he said that this creation is made with the Saha Yajna. Creation is made along with Yajna. What is Yajna? Like Ramnathji was saying, Yajna is, you take little, what you actually require. That example of Gandhi going into the river. You take only little. What is required you take, give more. Giving more than what we consume. That sensitivity we should have. So Saha Yajna, along with this Yajna, this creation is made. Yajna means coming together. In the spirit of togetherness, I shed my selfishness and we work collectively. Together, cooperatively, when we work, you may attain whatever you want. Devas, humans, everybody, we should work with Yajna spirit. Nature is taken care. Environment is taken care when we work with the spirit of Yajna. Yajna spirit means all of us working together. Together, when we serve, we get. And he says, let this be Kamadiku. Let this be your wish-fulfilling cow. Kamadhenu is our cow. Whatever you want, this cow gives you. Let the spirit of togetherness, parasparam bhavayantaha, and being together, let the spirit of togetherness be your Kamadhenu. It's a powerful verse. Whatever you want to fulfill in this world, do it in this spirit. That is the law which we should do. We miss that law and we miss everything. The cord which holds everything together, Sutre Manigana Iva. Again in the Gita. The cord which holds all the pearls together, the beads together, similarly the spirit of togetherness holds the universe together. If we adopt that method, everything would be like giving more than what we take, and we look at nature as our own being, not something to be exploited. For us, nature is worshipped. Why? In Sanatana Dharma, we strongly believe the Creator is divine, the created is divine. In Sanatana Dharma, this is our belief. And it is a fact. That's where the Advaita comes. Everything is the same divine. The Creator and the created both are divine. So when we look at nature, when we look at rivers, when we look at mountains, we see it as divine. That has to be reincorporated back into our way of life. And the Sanatana way of life is the best example for sustainability. People sitting here, I have a simple question. You don't have to answer, but I want you to think. How many people are there with you at home in each family? 4, 5? In a family, 4, 5? Earlier we were a little more larger. So what, you live in 2-bedroom apartment? 3-bedroom maximum? 4, 5 people live under one roof. Together, family. Now imagine if each individual wants an apartment. If each individual wants an apartment and I want to live alone, I want an apartment for myself. How many more trees we will chop? How much more forest we will erase? Our family way of life is sustainability. We say, yes, let's live under one roof as one family. Let's adjust and be there. In fact, in the past, our way of life was even more. I grew up in a joint family. We were 45 people living together, first few years of my life. Imagine 45 people. And every child is growing. If my cousin was born few years elder to me, what he wears, clothes, etc., would be given to us. Because he grows up, it doesn't fit in, and it'll come to us. We have to wear it. Sustainability, you don't chuck it out, you're using it maximum. Our lifestyle itself was so beautifully connected to sustainability. Take minimum from nature and give maximum. So this is from the Gita standpoint. I thought I'll add up to what Ramnath ji said. Now we lead this conversation to Erik. Erik, thank you so much for coming here. You had a very long day, a tedious day, and he was on the road from morning 11 a.m. the flight landed? 9:30. And he reached us by 5:36. Can you imagine the patience? And that's Kumbh for you. And this is Mahakumbh. And yeah, I tell, it's not humans walking. Here in Kumbh you see faith walking. It's not humans. It's faith which is moving. What is in motion is faith. So he was patiently went through all that, made it. We are very proud that you're here. The floor is all yours, Erik. Please go ahead.
Well, a very good afternoon to Prayagraj. I'm so happy to be with you at the Mahakumbh. Really, in my entire life, I had dreamed of once to come to Kumbh Mela, and now I'm here. And my friend, you are right. I spent more time from the airport here than I spent from Europe to Delhi on the aircraft. Why? Because there are so many people here. This is by far, without any competition, the largest spiritual event on planet Earth. But it's more. It's the largest event, the largest gathering of any sort of humanity anywhere in the world. There is nothing similar in America, Europe, China, Africa, nowhere else. This is absolutely unique. Tomorrow, 25 million people are expected here. Well, that's a bit more than the population of Sri Lanka, a bit less than the population of Nepal. It's a medium-sized country coming here tomorrow. So just to really hammer in how important this is and how blessed we are to be here. The topic of our discussion is we are facing a triple environment crisis. I think you are all aware. You have seen on TV the horrible firestorms in California, destroying homes of Hollywood stars, yes, but more importantly, destroying the homes of absolutely ordinary, also poor Americans. That is a function of climate change. You're also aware that we have horrible pollution. Delhi in November, December was so polluted, it was really dangerous for our health if we were to breathe the Delhi air. And we are destroying different ecosystems, animals, plants, and forests. All these have to change. And then we need to change our practice, and we need to change our thinking. The very good news is that we have the ability to do both. The new practice is there, really right in front of us. Solar energy is now the cheapest energy anywhere in the world. When Prime Minister Modi has made himself the main promoter of solar energy, he said India should have 1 crore, 10 million rooftops with solar energy. Why did he do that? Because it's very good economics, bringing people out of poverty, but very good for the environment all the same. We have, for the first time in human history, the ability to live prosperous, comfortable, good lives without destroying nature. That's the opportunity of the new practice. But we also need to change our thinking. And that's what my two colleagues have talked about. I mean, for far too long, the wrong thinking dominated humanity. And I have to say, a little shameful, that thinking was particularly strong in the West. That thinking was, humans are far above nature. We can kill animals, we can destroy plants, we can burn down forests, we can destroy rivers, we can do everything at our pleasure if it helps us. But look, this thinking is absolutely non-scientific. It's a frontal attack on everything we know from modern science, and it's also not common sense. If we were all to die tomorrow, panelists, all of you, well, Mother Earth will do very well. Mother Earth will hardly be affected at all. We, humans, depend on Mother Earth. Mother Earth don't really depend on us. Mother Earth will remain for billions or more years in all its beauty. If we humans were to disappear, we cannot live one day without Mother Earth. Some people believe they can because they're living in very urban settlement and may not see many trees in their daily life. But everything we're eating, the air we are breathing, everything is depending on Mother Earth, and we need to change that thinking. That's, of course, thank you. Please give applause for that. It's very important. And that's, of course, why we're here, to celebrate Adi Shankara, or Adi Shankaracharya. I mean, you know, he was born in Kerala. came to Omkareshwar in Madhya Pradesh, and then went, I think, on 3 major trips, walking around in Bharat. Was, of course, no motorized transport those days, but basically he was walking. And he conquered Bharat, not with weapons, but with his brain, his mouth, and his discussions. And it's a wonderful story. I'm not aware that anywhere else on planet Earth you had these debates where the best, most sophisticated people of the time would sit down debating the ideas and the power of Adi Shankara. Was that he, I may be wrong to say, won these debates, because debates are not about winning, it's about shaping their thinking. But he had massive impact through his ability to debate, and it changed the perspectives of India and then the world. And look, this happened at a time where India was the dominant intellectual power. For 1500 years, basically from 200 before Christ to 1300 after Christ, India was the intellectual center of planet Earth, with the Hindu Dharma, with Buddhism, and with modern mathematics. And to the really honor of India, these ideas basically spread through intellectual debates, through intellectual persuasion, through trade, not through military conquest, which has been the normal way of sharing ideas in most other parts of the world. So it really puts India in the most brilliant spot, sharing ideas and conquering the world with ideas. Look, the biggest Buddhist temple in the world is in Indonesia. The biggest Hindu temple in the world is in Cambodia. But of course, they are coming from India. The old capital of Thailand was called Ayodhya. Well, it's Ayodhya, just another Thai version of the same name. So India conquered the world with his ideas, and Adi Shankaracharya was so consequential for this. Then came colonialism. And the Brits could not conquer India if they accepted that the Indian civilization was superior. Not even if they had accepted that the Indian civilization was equal to the Western civilization, it would be meaningful to conquer India. That could only be based on the idea that the Indian civilization was inferior. Why would you spread your own civilization if you believe the other is above you or equal to you? Then you go into a discussion and a dialogue, not a forceful converting people. But now, so for hundreds of years, through the work of many Western scholars, Hindu Dharma was seen as an inferior theology, inferior thinking, but now it looks so modern, because it comes again with this idea that man, humanity, and nature is one. We can only survive as part of nature, and we should show respect to all other living beings, whether animals or plants or trees or whatever is there. They are not for us to conquer and destroy, they are there for us to live with. There are so many aspects of this in the Hindu Dharma, because the veneration of rivers, we are here now of the confluence of the Ganga and the Yamuna rivers, respect for the cow as our mother, and indeed the old Indian, the ancient Indians even made God half human, half animal. Ganesh, half elephant, half human, but God. Hanuman, half monkey, half human, but God. Can there be a more strong way of symbolizing the closeness between humans and nature? And interestingly, because if ideas don't have practical consequences, they are dead. These have a very practical consequence. If I go back to my nation, Norway, we have basically no animal which is dangerous for human beings, with one exception, the polar bears, but they are living just up in the ice where there are hardly any people. no other animal in Northern Europe is dangerous for humans. If a wolf in Northern Europe are killing not humans, but sheep, it will be immediately be liquidated by government agents who take out, as it was said, that wolf. Well, in India, a number of people are killed every year by elephants. I think it's about 400 on average. About 50 are killed by tigers in India every year. 50 humans killed by tigers, 400 by elephants. If an elephant and a tiger attack and kill a human, they will normally be replaced, not killed. They will be taken out of the habitat and put in another habitat where they don't do the same damage. And that's such a wonderful respect for nature. So it shows that it's not just theory, it has practical consequences. What do you think? But my main message is we really need this old thinking, which is really the new thinking of humanity as a part of nature. And you were so generous to speak about Arne Næss. He's one of the most extraordinary persons coming from my nation, Norway. I met him and I knew him. He was a friend. He lived very long. He was close to 100 when he died. He was a spectacular human being. He was also a war hero. Had fought the Germans during the Second World War for the freedom of Norway. But he was also a brilliant thinker with his deep ecology, which again, of course, was very much inspired from India. Arne Næss would be the first to say, this thinking is not just coming from me, it's inspired from Gandhiji, but of course also from the ancient Indians. Interestingly, there are similar thinkings in other parts of the world. A few months back, I was in China, in a province of China called Zhejiang. There they had what they call the He culture. When I heard about the He culture, I thought, well, this is very similar to Adi Shankara, and interestingly also, it's from the same time. What's the He culture? These are two Chinese characters, meaning unity in diversity. Because we need to come together and stick together, but of course we will be different. We will have different thoughts, different sexes, different ages. There are many differences between us, but we need to come together. And this He culture was an amalgam of the three main currents of Chinese thinking: Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. So it was deeply also through Buddhism influenced from India. The first monks come from India and started this teaching in China. So what do I mean to say with this? If you want to change the thinking of humans, it cannot just be an Indian thing. It must also be a European, an American, and Chinese thing. And we need to stick together people from different corners of the world with similar thinking. And we need to bring this into the United Nations and other institutions. Over the last 2 or 3 years, something very important happened in this regard, because historically, UN was so dominated by the West. But then Prime Minister Modi made 21st of June the International Yoga Day. And in December last year, 21st of December, was made the International Meditation Day. And these 2 days are not just 2 days. 21st of June is when it turns from summer to winter, and 21st of December is, of course, when it turns from winter to summer. It's the coldest and darkest day in the year, and from then onwards it's go up, and that's exactly why they picked that day as the International Meditation Day. And meditation and yoga are, of course, deeply influenced from India and are recognized by the world as global heritage, and we need more of these things. And that's why I think also the ideas of Adi Shankaracharya can be recognized globally as absolute important global heritage and inspire people at all corners of the planet. Thank you so much.
Erik, that was very inspiring. And your insight on understanding Bharat And your drive to be in Kumbh is also very fine. We have been discussing this for a while, and in my nation, Shankara was forgotten long ago. That's a colossal mistake which we did. The Advaitic philosophy was forgotten, and so was Shankara. It's after a very long time, there is a great awakening happening. And the philosophy what Shankara brought in to the public is the philosophy. See, in Sanatan Dharma, the gods are called Vishwanath. Vishwa means universe. Jagannath, Lord of the world, Lord of the universe. So the philosophy, Advaita philosophy, is not just for few Indians. The Advaita philosophy is for the world. And I think the time has come now for us to take it forward. So a lot of work is happening, and one such thing is, we had a meeting this morning where we want to make an appeal to the United Nations, like Yoga Day, like Meditation Day, Uttarayana, Dakshinayana, that's actually for us. And we want a day of oneness, Advaita. And that we want it on Shankara's birthday. So this particular thing, the Indian calendar is completely different from Gregorian calendar. So Indian calendar moves by Tithi. So we are looking at, and I want your view also in it, how do we bring this Tithi idea to UN, and then what are the steps we should take to get the United Nations declare Bhagwan Shankaracharya's Janmadin as a day for oneness. And also we would like to see the next decade dedicated to promote oneness by different nations. Like all of us are very proud that when we did not have, when we were attacked by COVID and we were the largest population, and in spite of that, India managed to share vaccine free to so many other countries. This is our Advaita. This is our Advaita because we see them also part of divine. Creator created divine. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole universe is one family. So this oneness India has already established. On one political issue, when it came to Article 370 of Kashmir, Turkey took a stand which was not in favor of Bharat. But when Turkey had the earthquake, Bharat was the first to go there and help. This is our Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So India has proved time and again what is this kind of oneness. So I want your inputs. How do we take this forward? You want to sit? You want to? Whatever.
I think the critical issue to take such an idea forward is to get people to ally with it, meaning getting other nations or other institutions to support it, because it's hard for one nation, India, to carry it alone. As example, the idea of meditation was sponsored by a very small European nation called Liechtenstein. There are much fewer people in Liechtenstein than within a perimeter 100 meters from here. It's very small. But still they played a key role with India and others in promoting the idea of meditation. So kind of bringing together a coalition of nations who can support such an idea is the most critical. And also it's important to really make the case that time has come to recognize a lot more the best practice from other parts of the world, because I mean one of the most famous things of the UN is UNESCO World Heritage Sites. I think China now has the highest number. But I'm pretty sure that both Italy and France and Germany and a number of other European nations have more than India. As the Indian ambassador to UNESCO once said, I mean, if you have a small red painted house in Northern Europe, it will be recognized as a World Heritage Site, but even the greatest of temples in India, that has not happened. So, I mean, it's of course an affront to India, if I'm right, that there are more World Heritage Sites in France and Italy than in India. Nothing wrong with France and Italy. I mean, they're well-deserved historical places. That's what I'm arguing. But of course, India is so much bigger, has had a such much longer history, and had a such big part of human history, was the center of the world and these nations. I mean, yes, Italy was during the Roman Empire, that's true, but not for most of history. This must be rectified. There must be a balance which is reflecting today's world. And in today's world, there should be many, many more World Heritage Sites from India compared to any other nation in the world, with the possible exception of China. So making that strong argument of historical fairness, but mainly bring a coalition of nations and institutions who will support the idea forward to make the case.
I think we harnessed 54 nations for solar energy, called Suryaputra. So we take the cue from you. There are 54 countries working together with Bharat on solar energy. I think Surya, for us, the creator and the created, both are divine. We worship sun. I think those kind of nations we should start looking at collaborating, and definitely, like what you said, Ayodhya in Thailand, and the influence of Bharat across those countries should also be looked into. Okay. Ramnathji, you want to say anything?
I think one should add one more thing, that is the One Health system. So after Corona, our Prime Minister also declared One Health system, because if the whole globe is one family, then there should be one health system. And this is the initiative of India. So that is also the extension of Advaita philosophy. Because more than 100 countries were not in that position to buy vaccines. So if this type of calamity happens, then there must be one health system. So everyone has right to live, and everyone has right to live happily. So that can also be added as one of the component of Advaitic extension. So this is my view. Thank you.
If I can add to that, I propose that Mr. Poonawalla, who is the industrialist in Pune, and who is the head of the Serum Institute, which has been the #1 maker of vaccines for the world's poor, should be given the Nobel Peace Prize. Yes, I think it's an absolutely no-brainer. He has probably saved more lives than any other human being. Yes, he's a businessman, but if you don't make it a business, it cannot work. But it's a business which is very different, because some of the Western medical companies, they make few vaccines with very high profit for the part of the world which can easily pay. What Poonawalla was doing, or is doing, is making an enormous amount of vaccines at a very low price, so that every nation and also the poor can have access to these vaccines. It's so beautiful. Prime Minister Modi also during the COVID time promoted this, but it's not just COVID, it's basically every other disease. The Serum Institute in Pune is making the cheapest vaccines for the poor people of this world.
Bharat has lived this Advaitic vision even in war. Even in Gita, Krishna says, Adveshta sarva bhutana, maitra karuna evacha. To Arjuna, he says, Arjuna, don't have hatred, vengeance in you. You have to fight the war, you fight, but without these. Do not have hatred towards anyone. Sarva bhutana. And we proved it in our Kargil war. Some of you were, maybe you were not even born at Kargil war. When Kargil war happened, the soldiers from that side from the Pakistan country came and occupied Indian territories. There was an agreement. In winter, both the countries will go back to the plains. And summer they'll come and occupy the territorial posts in the mountains. India moved down according to the agreement, but the Pakistanis stayed back. Later came and occupied Indian posts. This is what the war was about. We need to use our technology, etc., and reclaim every part. And in this war, many Pakistani soldiers were dead. But Pakistan government could not claim them back. If they claim they are our citizens, then you have promoted terrorism. So they did not claim. Vajpayee was the prime minister at that time. He sent mullahs from Srinagar to go to all the hilltops and gave Pakistani soldiers Islamic funeral, Islamic burial. Because there was nobody to claim their body, and they belong to that faith. Treated them that way. See, our Advaitic vision was never lost. It's just that on the philosophical side we forgot, but on the practice, on the living level, we kept this on always. Erik, you'd like to add anything before we wind up? You have a mic there.
I am occupying other as well. So actually, the gradation of knowledge in Advaitic tradition, that has been mentioned in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So if you are a person of wisdom, then you will have to fulfill those conditions which have been mentioned there, and knowledge has been divided into three parts. One is sattvic, other is rajas, and third one is tamas. So a person of wisdom means sarva bhutesu ye naikam bhavam abhyayamikshate avibhaktam vibhaktesu tas jnanam vidhi sattvikam. So you are a person of wisdom if you understand the consciousness in everyone. Whether is it Pakistani or European or South Asian people, at root level, at core level, we are the same. But at body level, or if there is a fight between two nations, so that is a process. But we have to understand the core of the people, and in this way, Vajpayee ji did this kind of thing, that war is now over. Those soldiers were performing their duties. But now it's time for understanding the reality, and he must be given regard for their dharmic performance. So I think that was also the extension of Advaitic philosophy.
Of course, the idea of oneness can also not only help us in the relationship between humans and nature, but also obviously in the relations between humans. And if we agree that we are all one, they will be much easier to accept that in most cases also the opposite side have some argument, and we need to discuss and need to find some compromise. Because I have been involved in a number of peace processes, and the most important lessons learned from all of them, in my view, is the need for compromise. Because if your idea is that you know the full truth and the others just need to be knocked down, well, it will normally lead to endless conflict. And this is not just between nations, it's in society, It's at every level of society. I mean, think of your own family. If, say, your father decides that he will decide everything in the family, will decide what you will eat for every dinner, what entertainment you will have, what videos you will watch, everything in the family will be decided by your father. Well, it's a recipe for disaster. Everyone knows that. A family can only exist if there is compromise between man and woman, and also even between the parents and children, including, of course, the grandparents. You need to find compromises which works for all. That extends itself to the sports club, or to a nation like India, or of course to the relationship between India, China, Europe, America, all of them. We need to look to the fact that we are one, and we need to look to compromises which can make life work for all of us. And that's again a consequence of the thinking of oneness.
Yes, Smriti. Thanks for coming all the way, Erik. We enjoyed this conversation being with you.
To be very honest with you all, we don't want it to stop here at this note, but yeah, I understand. We have a time constraint. As we come to the close of this very profound discussion, my heart is filled with immense gratitude. Today we've embarked upon an intellectual and spiritual journey, exploring how the timeless wisdom of Advaita can guide us in preserving environment and shaping a sustainable future in which togetherness or oneness will be at the core. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Ramnath Jhaji from JNU, whose deep scholarly insights into Advaita Vedanta have illuminated our understanding of interconnectedness, not just among human beings, but with the entire cosmos. Your words have reminded us that true wisdom lies in seeing the world as one undivided whole. Special thanks to Swami Mitranand Saraswati Ji, whose presence and teachings have inspired us all. Swamiji, your profound perspective on how spirituality and action should go hand in hand, and has shown us that protecting nature is not just an external responsibility, but a deeply spiritual, deeply individual endeavor. Your words have kindled a sense of duty within us all. Thank you so much. And we are honored to have with us Mr. Erik Solheim. His visionary words and his concern for the environment and for every single human being were beautiful. Your insights on blending ecological responsibility with policy action have been invaluable. It's truly inspiring to see how the philosophy of Advaita finds resonance in your advocacy for environmental conservation. To all the dignitaries, scholars, and every Atman present here, thank you for your enthusiastic participation. It's an extremely engaging and curiosity-driven discussion that we had here. I would like to express my gratitude to all the volunteers, all the Shankar Doots who sang for us in the beginning, and everyone who's present here. I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. We'll conclude this very beautiful evening with a Shanti Mantra. Kindly please have the Shanti Mantra.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
request to make. I'm extremely sorry. I would kindly ask Professor Ramnath Jha ji to explain the Shanti mantra that we just did for Erik ji.
The meaning of this mantra, Vedic mantra, is that the consciousness is absolute, and this universe which came out of this consciousness, that is also absolute. And if you take something out of this consciousness, it remains absolute. And finally, when it gets dissolved into the consciousness, that is also absolute. So everything lies in absoluteness, and this is also our environmental model, that you must respect the state of absoluteness, and that lies in the protection of nature, and that protection is the protection of the consciousness and of yourself. This is the meaning.
Yaksha